Namaste and welcome to On the Path with Yogi Krish. I am Yogi Krish. Today we're going to talk about something really interesting. A lot of people wonder about soul connections and soul ties. Many times we come across people and we click with them almost instantly, as if we have known them for years and years. This is when your soul recognizes somebody else. It's called soul recognition. And often, soul recognition happens with someone that you have spent several past lives with, or at least a few past lives with. You begin to trust them, and even though you probably meet them for 15 or 20 minutes, it's as if you have known them for decades together. So these are soul connections, and usually they leave a profound effect or an imprint in your life, even if they are there for a very short time. Often they are there with someone for years and years. So to really understand the concept of soul connections, we must first understand the concept of what is a soul family. 7 souls, including yours, come together and form a soul family. 7 such soul families come together and form a soul tribe. The members of the soul families will usually be your parents, your brothers, your sisters. It can even be a nephew, your best friend, or even a business partner that you create something with and who you absolutely trust. Usually, the soul tribe is a larger soul family, and soulmates usually come from soul tribes. So before we get into soul connections, let's try and understand the different types of soul connections that exist, or at least the ones that we are consciously aware of. The most profound soul connection is a twin flame connection. A twin flame is a mirror soul. It mirrors you, and it's a highly spiritual connection. It is said that a twin flame connection is one soul which is split into 2. And the soul contract between twin flames is all about spiritual ascension and spiritual growth. So it's an extremely challenging connection, because the purpose of a twin flame connection is not romance, and it's not all lovey and dovey. The purpose of a twin flame connection is more to challenge you so that you learn your lessons and you spiritually awaken and you spiritually ascend. Often, twin flame connections are extremely powerful. They are telepathic in nature, and there's always an energetic bond despite distances. I have known twin flame connections where people exist in absolutely different parts of the continent, and the connection is so powerful that they feel each other almost all the time. There are several synchronicities, and there's almost always an existing telepathic bond. There can only be one twin flame, because it's the same soul split into 2, or mirror souls. Soulmates can be several, but twin flame is only one. In recent times, there's a lot of romantic nostalgia and a lot of romanticizing that happens around twin flame connections. The reality is that twin flame connections are extremely rare, because very, very rarely will you find 2 people who are spiritually awakened, or they spiritually awaken each other and they ascend. So it's a very, very rare connection. The second form of soul connection are soulmates. Soulmates can be of two types. They can be romantic and they can be very platonic. When it comes to platonic soulmates, those soulmates will usually be your best friend, or they can usually be somebody uh, who leaves a profound imprint in your life, and it can be within your family or outside your family. The romantic soulmates are usually ones that you have spent several past lives with. And when they walk into your life, they bring with them a certain level of unconditional love that you experience. Usually, soulmates are the ones that we will settle down, we will have children with, we will love each other, and then spend several decades and years together, all in a spirit of complete family bonding or very close connection. Soulmates usually are less challenging and they are more beautiful connection. It's all about love. The third form of soul connections are karmic connections. Again, karmic connections can be both romantic or they can be somewhat platonic. But karmic connections too are extremely powerful. Karmic connections, as the name itself suggests, are bonds that will eventually teach you a spiritual lesson. And the whole purpose of that spiritual lesson is that you pay your karmic debts or you balance out your past life karma. Many often, people will experience extreme romantic connections with someone that does not work out, and it is not due to lack of effort or due to lack of love. It just doesn't work out because of circumstances. Those are karmic connections, and those often teach you a spiritual lesson eventually that you recognize and learn. Unless you learn that lesson, you will invariably be in the karmic loop. You will go around in circles and circles and circles. These karmic connections, even though they are extremely powerful, can sometimes be extremely toxic. The fourth kind of spiritual connections, and they are extremely powerful as well, are our soul teachers and kindred souls. They will usually come into your life in the form of a guru or in the form of a teacher, and they will teach you spiritual lessons, hold your hand, guide you with unconditional love so that you follow your spiritual path and you go on to improve yourself and realize your own self. These connections too are extremely powerful, even though they may not come from within your soul family or within your soul tribe. So these are the four different types of soul connections that exist. Now, what happens when you spiritually ascend? When you spiritually ascend, the whole purpose of that ascension is that your soul or your consciousness becomes one and one with the larger consciousness. We might call that God, we might call it universe, we might call it, awareness, pure consciousness, whatever you call it. The whole purpose of that is the unification of that. And that happens when you learn all your spiritual lessons and you overcome all your karma, past life, present life, and you balance them out and you gradually lose your karmic connections and attachments and eventually go on forward to attain mukti or liberation. In the contemporary context, it's important to tell that soul connections happen almost naturally in the virtual world. I'm sure a lot of you have connected with someone on internet and you hit it off really, really well. Some of these connections too are extremely powerful, even though you might not meet them personally or even have physical contact with them. And these connections too can be twin flame, they can be soulmates, they can be karmic, and they can be kindred souls. So the nature of these connections is not bound by physical constructs of time and space as we as human beings are aware of it. And often they trigger in us a whole range of emotions and learnings and spiritual consciousness, like telepathic connections, synchronicities, energetic bonds, and so on and so forth. These connections are often healing. These connections can also be not very healing, they can be intense. So I hope you understood the various types of soul connections that exist. And I hope that this will help you to become aware of these kind of connections that exist in your own physical environment and in your own physical world. And with this awareness, you can consciously work on and improve your life and move on into becoming a better spiritual person. If you like this video, please do subscribe and leave a comment. Or if you have a question, leave them and I will reply back to you. Thank you so much. Namaste.